Hi, I'm Sig. Let me show you our end-to-end workflow system for services companies. I'm logged on as Sig. He's a customer at this fictional firm BCG, and he has a need, so he's going to request an offer. And I have to select somebody who shall handle it, and it's Peter today at BCG that is responsible for handling all incoming requests. So everything has one single owner for the accountability, and also that I know who's really taking care of it, instead of some info person. And off it goes. In the meantime, I can see it here under the requests. And but now I have to do some bunny jumping and going out and leaving Sig and going over to Peter, who has an incoming request. And the first thing, he has to assign it. He's just doing 2 hours today, but he can take it in himself, and let's do that. Otherwise, the assignee will have to accept or decline. And here we can do our research, find out if it's worth giving them an offer. And for that I got research notes, I got plan costs, I can add documents and so forth. And I can do more, I can send it out for discussion, which happens in parallel while I'm working on the research. And every discussion, input, comment will end up here and visible in real time. I can send it off for question to the customer. I can plan, I can abandon it completely, or now at the end of the work I have set the plan and cost. Say I decided on 10,000 for this fixed price, and then I'm sending it off. But first I have to fill in all the details. Fixed price compared to estimates means that fixed price you cannot change it. Estimate leaves both parties open to suggest changes to the price. And I'm going to set the price. Same with prepayment, retainer. If yes, then the buyer will have to pay the prepayment that is set up here, but in this case I'm choosing no. I can also edit the situation details here, and I can set an estimated date for delivery. And if I have more to say to the customer, I can add it here. But now I'm going to send this to the customer now. And in the meantime, it's under pending. So I know everything that is out and waiting for something to happen. I'm going to log out and log on again as. And here we have an offer for a strategy analysis with all the details. And this is how these comments are added with the author and timestamp, which makes it this quite important, this negotiation round, because it's the basis for dispute resolution later. There will be no I said, you said when everything is in here and it's timestamped by the system itself. There's no way anybody can change it. So that solves a lot of problem up front. Good fences make for good neighbors. And the question, do I need a separate invoice as PDF uploaded, of course, to the system? If I said yes to that, then invoice would not become an invoice until the seller has uploaded the PDF. But I'm going to say no here. And I say accept to this one, and I'm ready to send it back. Off it goes. And out I go again. And logging on as Peter, who has a response. He can see the details, but he can also adjust them in case there were notes from Sig, from the customer. And there is nothing to be added. So he adds agreed, and everything is then properly accepted. Other alternatives is send it back to customer with changes and notes, or abandon the negotiation and the message will be sent to the customer. But just say we have it. Agreement. But of course, as I could change things, we have to leave it to the customer to have the final acceptance of the agreement. He looks at it and all is fine. And the next is we have an agreement. He can now send it back with a note, but let's say we have an agreement. At which point it is now no more a request, it's now under preparation, which basically means he's setting up a team, or he's starting to decide who shall do it and so forth. So I'm going to log out and see what Peter has to do, who shall now do the job, of course. And the first question he gets is, and it goes all smooth, there is no breakage in the flows here. Do it myself or lead the project, or reassign it. So I'm going to do it myself and lead the project. And the first question, is it a single task or shall I create a project? Let's create a project. And here we go, select team members. I can see a list of contractors that we've been working with before. If I need a new kind of contractor, I can go over here and add the contractor and then come back here. And other team members, but let's just select a couple of employees, because if I select also a contractor, they will lead into a negotiation between the contractor and the company, of course, and a price set agreed upon, similar to what we did earlier. To skip that, to move forward, we're just going to choose Mary and Paul. And now this should be a project. It's now a project. And as the owner of the project, I could also have a column next to it saying project where I'm a member. The difference between those two is where I'm the lead, I can do a lot more. I can add tasks, I can deliver the project, I can add member or remove team members. We got 2 team members now. So let's start off and adding tasks. Not boring you with writing much here. Just call it first task. And it is now in the backlog. Let's add another one. So now I have a project with 2 tasks. Every time the lead, and he's the only one who can add a task, adds a task, it becomes a backlog and nobody can pick it up. I have to move them into to-do list, because this is following straightforward Kanban agile methods. There's another note to this, that we can add the note to the project or to the tasks themselves, and all team members can do that. Thus, this becomes also a discussion area where actually notes, comments, ideas, anything becomes a part of the task or the project itself. So it's in context at all times. So this is the work area. So if I move this to do, it's moved, and now it's a to do. And the moment it's a to do, I can do the task. And the same for, let's go to Mary. Message. She's a team member, so she's notified. And let's look at the project. Here's the project. I'm a team member. As you can see, she can only add a note. But in this case, she can do this task. Do this task. Yes. And here, of course, there's going to be work. All the details from what the task consists of, details about the project, also a list of all the other tasks, so she can have an overview in the same interface. And here are the 2 simple places, task notes, and she can add the documents here as well. Let's keep it simple, done, uploading something, depending, and we're ready to send for acceptance. I'm going to log out. In the meantime, Mary goes back and checks for more to-dos. And Peter has a done task to be accepted. He reads all about it, what happened, blah, 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 and can accept or send it back with a note. But we're now going to accept it. And so now we have a project with one backlog and one second task. The thing is, if I move this one to do, so I got a to do and a done. If I now try to deliver the project, I got a message. Sorry, there are still to do or in progress tasks, so I cannot end it. I have to wait for that. But of course, I can move this one back. I decided I don't have to do this one, so I can move it back. And even more than that, if I need to be, and during the process, I can even delete a backlog tasks. Because what happens if somebody delivers a task, you find out, oh, that opens for new possibilities. I can move an old task back to backlog and remove it or split it into two or create a totally new one and so forth. So Kanban style, I'll have to prioritize as things happen. So at this point I can now deliver the project, and I can then add a task note and add the final delivery attachment like the full strategy analysis. And ready and done, yes. And we have, it's still open because it hasn't been accepted yet, so I have to go back to SIG. Just an old note here. And here, please accept, I can read all about it. Look at the attachment would have been here, links to those. So I can either say all's well, send it back, or we have a dispute, basically. Because if I send it back, it goes back to Peter, then it comes back here, and at which point I might decide we have a dispute. Then it moves straight into a negotiation flow. But say all is well, and task is accepted as done, or project. At which point we suddenly have a payable. And the payment is 1,000, etc., etc. Let's look what this looks like on at BCG side, at the admin side, because they can see a bit more. They can see invoices, receivables. There could be many columns over here with the payables, estimates. The estimates we can adjust and so forth. But if I request an adjustment, both parties must agree, of course. I can also look at my whole account. Receivables, nothing in my own account, but the net is basically our profit so far. And there are other reports. It's not much in here. Receivables, if I click to it, I can see the breakdown. If there were different customers, there will be pie slices here. I think that was all. Thank you. Bye.